bad guys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Well, let's find out. Well, I'm going to play the bass. For a starter, I'm talking a little bit about the Mysteriis dum Satanas. You know, the Mayhem album. And I found this bass now. It's a little bit dusty, and I'm going to play the one single riff that I actually remember from that album. But it doesn't have any straps or anything, so we'll see how it goes. And I don't think it's very tuned, is it? Might have to tune it a little bit. I'll be back in a minute. The problem here is that I haven't played the bass in a very long time, but I'm supposed to play this. Only while tremolo picking. And let's see how it goes. Well, okay, that wasn't perfect, but you get the idea. I made several riffs for the Mayhem the Mysteriis album. And the way you can identify them is tremolo picking on multiple strings. So whenever you hear a bass riff with tremolo picking on multiple strings, I made it. Now, as you know, I have not been credited officially for having played the bass on the Mysteriis. And the reason for this is that after I removed the little goblin, Hellhammer was pestered by his parents because they didn't want him and me to appear on the same album. Now, granted, that is kind of a moot point because we already appear on the same album, on the Burzum debut album, where I politely asked him, because he was in the studio when I recorded the album, to play a lead on the war track, and he accepted, he wanted to. So we already appear on the same album, the Burzum debut album, because he plays one lead on the war track. Anyhow, because of this, Hellhammer was forced to pretend that he went to Bergen to re-record the bass, even though he doesn't even really know the bass lines, but that's another story. So he pretended to re-record it, didn't re-record it, he just kept the bass line I had recorded, and on the album, I think he's credited for having played the bass there, isn't he? And personally, I'm not an unreasonable fella. I understand why people do different things, and I understood at the time perfectly well why Hellhammer did this. And some people ask me if I get paid for the bass line that I played on the Mayhem album, but no, I have never received a penny. I have never asked for a penny, and I don't really care. I mean, and talking about the war track, I actually get some questions by some people who are probably tone deaf or, you know, if the war track is made by Bathory, if it's a cover track, and no, it's not. Let's be polite and say it that way. And I think the confusion may have appeared because I have stated earlier that the war track was a tribute track to Bathory, and it was made to sound much like Bathory for that purpose. It's a tribute to Bathory. Made by me, 100%, except that one little lead that Euro improvised in the studio when I recorded the album. And while talking about the Mysteriis, the first time I heard that album was in prison, because there was a guy who a couple of cells up the hall, who smuggled in CDs quite frequently. He took them inside the covers of books and, you know, routinely brought in CDs that way. And one day he told me, I have the Mysteriis album, you want to hear it? And I said, okay. So that was the first time I heard it, because I could hear it on my PC that I had for school purposes in my cell. No internet, of course. And I was incredibly disappointed by the vocals. It was terrible, and I think it completely ruined the whole album, and I never listened to it because of the vocals. I never played the bass lines again after recording it in September 1992. This was the first time I actually played it again. And therefore I really don't know them very well. I remember this one, and that's it. I don't remember any of the others. But like I said, they're on the album, so you can hear it there if you want to. The other bass lines on the Mysteriis album are all made by Jørn, or Necro Butcher. And the only reason I had to make bass lines for some of the riffs is because Euronymous had made new music after Necro Butcher no longer was part of the band. So he had made bass lines himself, so I did it for that purpose. Thank you for watching.